I'm going to just come to order and start taking the attendance.
Good Mark.
Here.
Tony Pacheco.
Here.
James Chamberlain. Sarah Smith. Deborah Holton. Here. Tim Works. Morgan Donaldson. Julie Marshall. From the Cleveland.
Here.
Tim Chickinson. Here. Luke Walton.
Here.
Alan Ayers.
Here. Good evening, everybody. We always start with an opportunity for the public to speak. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to address the board and questions? Questions you only have to say. Anyway, hearing now we can move on to committee meetings. First committee report was in personnel.
We did not meet. Yeah, we have a meeting coming up, 3 days, personnel committee meeting, which we have, we don't do it. We will find during the day, because we can't get
Policy.
And then we
I mean, I don't mean to put it on. I don't mean to put it on the file.
no, it's in discussion.
All right.
It's a discussion.
Okay.
So we could.
Finance.
Finance prior to this meeting. So on the agenda, there's 2 motions. The first one is for the full board to receive the quarterly financial statements as of March 30th, 2025. Currently, everything is looking very good except for our special ed tuition payments. At this particular point in time, we actually have 12 additional students that are being outplaced. And a very major cost. So we are running a deficit of 376,107, but we'll see what happens in the next quarter before we manage that. Either the rest of the managing the rest of the budget. For the remainder of the year, Sheriff, there is a spending freeze on right now, so that's hopefully that will help mitigate that. There is currently a balance in our special ed reserve of 230,000, and it's 230,730. That amount is a little bit lower than we have had previously in the special ed reserve account, and so hopefully we can bring some of that. Capital budgets. The capital projects budgets, that is increased, that's doing well right now. There's one, Dennis is waiting for one reimbursement for an expenditure that's showing negative in the line in your report, if you're looking at the report under the capital budget, and that should be zeroed out. And then the other thing we talked about was our cafeteria fund. We are running deficit there. And again, we're looking at, Mariah is looking at ways of cutting costs in the summer, and it's in next year, so we're not running these deficits. But again, food costs are up, and it's impacting our budget as well here in the cafeteria. So that's something.
I think it's important to note that the form that's in our finance packet represents the deficit for the town.
That's our next step.
So, yeah, but. So some are in some form of either
Last but not least, this is hot off the presses. I guess Region 19, never received this before, but this is in recognition of our, budget management. Financial management, really, yeah, and it's really congratulations to Amanda Backus, Director of Finance. So the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada has awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting to Regional School District Number 19 for its annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2024. The report is judged by an impartial panel to meet the high standards of the code, which includes demonstrating a constructive, quote, spirit of full disclosure, unquote, to clearly communicate its financial story and motivate potential users and user groups to read the report. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. So this is really all Amanda Backus.
And apparently the last time it was received was 2019.
But the idea have her, yeah, Amanda. And she was really good. Certainly didn't meet, but we would coordinate for her. I apologize. Yes, there was one other thing. So just a note, there's a second motion on the agenda for the auditors. I think we forgot about that. But we are moving into the second year of a 3-year contract with our current auditing group. And each year, as a technicality, we have to go ahead and make a motion to approve them. Even though we're in a 3-year contract, we have to actually approve that every single year. We have to they're continuing to use this particular document. But it's a motion process. Okay.
Building, we didn't have a building.
EJ, I'm going to mention 2 meetings. We met in a joint meeting with the policy committee. Intentional review of the grading policy. Heard from some of the staff concerned about it, and while the policy committee is using the equity protocol through their whole process, went through a process, advocating and picking one demographic and disabilities policy might affect them. And we did identify a few areas of that we need to pay attention to. It's not like very changes in terms of particular students who may not be effective self-advocates for themselves, and how we do that. And students from families who don't really have families, ways to make sure that particularly the reassessment process reaches those students who are no problem. So that was I think it's the first time we've had that sort of a joint meeting. It was really I thought it was great. We also met yesterday before the annual meeting, and we talked about a couple of things. We basically did a recap of where the state of Connecticut and where we stand with respect to the Department of Education's April 3rd level requested all state boards of education to certify the federal government that they were complying with all the federal civil rights laws, the government's interpretation of those laws, and their fairly novel approach of trying to extend the Harvard non-affirmative action case to all K-12 schools as well, and basically saying, I would basically say that their view is that DEI's affirmative action should be in this case. There have been 3 cases brought in federal court, and all decided, all the issues about this was like April 24th, one in DC, one in, third is one in New Hampshire, and one in Maryland. All of those, took the position that the government was not sufficiently clear on what DEI practices are illegal, and the Washington decision as far as to say that no state and no school should certify is required to certify to that letter until they don't do the course clear guidance. Connecticut took the position earlier this month that they were not going to sign the letter with about a dozen other states, saying that we already complied with the civil rights laws and we can get through this. So we're going to continue to monitor that, particularly that and the fact that the board now found that the Department of Education has already moved forward to cut a total of $5.4 billion completed flow funding. $1 billion of that relates to mental health programs that were in place by bipartisan legislation following the Uvalde shooting to provide more mental health support for students in schools identified by students at risk and students on nights, the risk of hurting themselves or others, and another $4.5 billion that has been targeted to a number of programs. Not many of them, from what I talked to Sharon, will be programs that would directly affect us, though adult education could have some impact on adult education programs. So we're going to monitor that as well. And then we also spent some time reviewing the pre-K university. Oh, just one other thing. On May 27th, the parents for the justice are going to have here with many of us in the time they can attend. I attended the meeting at the beginning of the year, and we talked about what we're going to do this year. This is sort of the meeting that says this is what it's doing. I would encourage if anyone on the board wants to attend the meeting. You're on the 22nd.
Thank you. A quick question before we move on. When is that, what's the date on that meeting? We can have for the month of that.
So 2 weeks ago, we had our teaching here at Elon, and the main focus of it was on dignity, which is a great thing to integrate really on the board right now. And we had a variety of speakers come in. We had some talk about dignity, we had some read poetry, and talk about the meaning behind the poetry. And we also had two teachers of our own from the Student Advisory Council, where we spoke about the N-word and microaggressions, and I think we had a really good turnout, and we had really good conversations regarding those. And I also want to shout out to all of the board members in here, because I was at the one where you guys were speaking, and I think that students had a really good reception to that, or seeing you guys, because most of the time we hear about the board of education, yet we never really know who the board of education was. So I think seeing some of you guys with the teaching allowed people to put a face to a name, and it had people thinking and talking. And I think the questions that were asked, and I know more questions wanted to be asked, I think they were really powerful. And so I think doing more things like that is a good event where really like help the students get a better understanding of who's running and what the board of education is.
And a different experience, but just about how to receive here. So celebrations are going very well, and so people that we've been kind of enjoying a bunch of students that we're in the farm. So it's been so far. This week AP testing also started, and that'll continue in the next couple of weeks as well. So I think it's really important to remind people that it does really back for students at Cape, but the amount of students that we that are willing to challenge the work and study for them. Is really into this information of the student mindset. At this point. And then for seniors, it's really biased as student myself. But the decision today was this past week on May 1st. A lot of our seniors think it's a really important decision because that's what they want to do this kind of fall. Whether they're attending college or university or entering the workforce. So Thursday, all of our students were shirts between this decision, which I thought was really nice to make just encourage us like the community and support following relatively stressful senior year for some. And then seniors have also begun to prepare for the last, I think it's 24 days. We have a lot of community events being prepared over the next few weeks, including senior sunset on Fishbed Hill, class that's senior outing on the 27th, and the class night on the 21st, and then for all upper class on the 30th. So these are all events that are intended to kind of celebrate the achievements that the students have accomplished, and I think they've cultivated a lot of us. I would also say senior race is definitely swelling, but as a class officer myself, like I said, it's been hard work and preparation that's been going on, especially during graduation and preparing for these many events. And then lastly for me, I think on Thursday, May 22nd, we're also preparing for a civics and action project, such as a community presentation for our students in the civics classroom. So all of our students work with and preparing all the students teachers and administrators and elected officials. And coming to students work with different try to make an impact in the community. So I'd love to see as many people as possible there during this period. But that's always kind of a nice reminder.
So one more thing, Pure Natural Helpers, which is a club that you know, which works on the transition to middle schoolers from middle school to high school. We started like sort of incorporating that. So today I'm presenting that. And we're starting to go to middle schools and talk to the middle schools about what the transition like from their middle school to EOAs. And we talk about like EOA's life, what to expect. And we're also hosting an 8th grade activity night on May 22nd from 5:30 to 7:30. And so yeah, we host a bunch of games, we have a bunch of clubs where 8th graders can sign up for things they're interested in. And it's just basically like a hangout. So I'll have the 8th graders from different towns come all together and we either take one like class and sort of like get to know them before actually coming to here. And we're also preparing for the 8th grade research.
Do you mind letting us know the question?
Oh, yeah, appreciate that. Thanks.
I just want to embarrass my grandma.
Yeah.
Like, congratulate her.
Thank you so much.
And she's worked really hard. It's well deserved.
We do have a question before I get to that, I'd like to remember before the also be some to jump in the back.
So I always say that I'm going to skip things and run through the legal be all and then get words in time, right? I will try. So I do want to just fill you in on some follow-up calls. I presented probably 2 or 3 meetings ago about a state health survey that we are required legally to administer to a select number of students in the school. It's required by the state. We're not thrilled with some questions on that survey, and made several phone calls to the state. It's a pleasure. And the bottom line is we do have to administer it. We've done an amazing job in getting the down and sending out making sure that they have a copy of the survey that was out that survey. How to do that. Just to make it clear because it is mandatory. I just wanted, if you could hear about it and make sure that you know about that situation. we had planning meetings this month for teacher and staff appreciation week. So this is the teacher and staff appreciation week. We have the opportunity to celebrate our amazing staff. We do great things all year long. What we get to do to celebrate them pales in comparison to what they actually deserve. They put in and dedicate to our kids every single day. But I will be remiss if I didn't just to share publicly my gratitude for everything that they do. The administration's gratitude for everything that they do. Their gratitude. For the work and our staff as a whole. We know that from our administrative staff to our administrative assistants to our maintenance staff, to our cafeteria staff, everyone has a role to take part of our children in this building. So we consider it staff appreciation. I can't beat what they shared about the teach-in. There were some amazing presentations. There is an email in the packet from Suzanne Desjardins, who spearheads that event, where she has a list of those who participated. And again, I want to reiterate our board members who participated: Janice, Arthur, Lily, Nick, Sarah, who were there. Really well received presentation. And again, Kate and Fabio and Theo, thank you, as well as members of that student who worked on presentations for a long time. Really put themselves out there to present, and that was they were really well received as well. And all the presentations were. Empty bowls. We'll see a little bit about that in staff's presentation this evening. Again, a huge event. The community came together. Too many people to mention because we really did a school committee event. So nothing that I experienced prior to the PF Smith. And I experienced it my first time back in COVID time. And it was just my COVID because I remember from the past, the first trimester soon. But it's absolutely amazing. It did not disappoint at all, especially with the shout out Alan Huston, who's our culinary teacher who runs a tight ship in the kitchen, stirring soup and making biscuits, doing all of those things. And he really, the work that he does, we received a letter. It's in the packet from the Women's Association of Schools and Colleges from BS advisor accreditation in response to our centennial that we received last year. That gave an update. They gave several commendations. Our next report is a 3-year report of progress and planning. That's due on February 1st, 2027. We can take a look at recommendations. I did also include the information that they provide substantive change. We may have to do a substantive change based on the difficult lighting here that we had. So I do just want to make sure that I bring that to your attention as we look through the recommendations. There are several recommendations that have been impacted by the budget reductions.
Go on to the consent agenda. Does anybody want to make any comments? Is there any discussion on this? And now, there's a vote on the table. Is there any opposed? Abstention? So now we can go back to the fourth discussion.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Holland, and it is so nice to meet all of you. I have been working for you for 8 months now here. And before I do my presentation, I just want to tell you that I used to teach in Texas and I used to teach in Oklahoma. And I taught in Granby, Connecticut, and in Suffield. And I have to say, it's a privilege to work here at EO. The reputation of this place is amazing. And then I was like, it can't be that great, and it really is. And so congratulations on being in the school. It's a privilege to work with your teachers. It's a privilege to be here. I'm excited. I'm going to tell you some wonderful things that we've done this year. And if you have any questions, please just stop me. I have a lot of energy. I understand that. So please, at any time, just like calm me down. It'll be fine. Okay, thank you. Okay. Thanks. Is that it? Thanks. Thanks, friend. All right, hi, I'm Steph Holland. Hey, I said that already. So let me start with English, and then I am the director of English and Fine Arts, and then I'll go into Fine Arts. There were like 67 slides, and I have really brought them down to like 20. So I do not intend to take all of your time tonight. Thank you very much. First, I want to talk about, these are the things that we've been working on in English, alignment of assessments, alignment of rubrics and learning trackers, tier 1 support, and sharing best practices. That's what the English department has been working on this year. First, aligning assessments for clear mastery of standards. We were developing in every one of our classes, including our prospective classes and our 1007s and our 10, and all of our classes, our AT classes, our advanced classes, working on common summative assessments. We were not giving the same assessments, and this year we are. And so we've been working on that so we can ensure that our students leave our classes, that we can say, hey, if they passed their classes, they have mastered these standards. And so I'm excited about that. Common formative assessments, we were developing clear standards aligned learning targets and common rubrics. And then what we could do is calibrate, since we were giving the same assessments, we could start calibrating, hey, how's this working? What are you doing in your class? What are we doing in my class? So we can get better at our practice of teaching. So that's exciting. Our learning target development and learning tracker system, we did develop them this year and we did deliver them to our students. I have an example here, and just developing clear standards aligned learning trackers. And this is one of your, is this how this works? Okay. So I can, you can have, did nobody get this? Like digitally, you get this? So I can click on this if you want, but it's just an example of the little picture I brought here. So I won't move forward. So we have learning trackers, and so all of our teachers are using learning trackers this year. I think this is exciting. So in 23-24, we had 405 English academic study hall referrals. And I don't think that we really had a great sense of how we're using those academic study halls. This year, we've increased it by 414% to where we had 2,081 referrals for our English teachers. So we can, because I think this year the English teachers are saying, hey, we see value in having students go learn with our other English friends. And I think it's working. And so that's exciting. Next, best practices. We're building a culture of sharing best practices. When we have department meetings and PLCs, we get together and we analyze data and we really share through that calibration of rubrics and assessments of how we can be better teachers and how we can be better at getting our students to be the best that they can be. And so that's what we've been working on. And some of that is just, let's get in the room and at first let's just be human. Let's just talk to each other and say, hey, how are you today? What's going on? Oh, this is one of those, by the way, this is how I like to start department meetings. It's all English based, so it's very Englishy. But for example, the last warm up we did was, if you had a fictional character that you could ask a question to, who would the fictional character be, and what would you ask the person? And so, like one person said, I would ask Bilbo Baggins, would you do the trip again? Okay, so it's just one way for us to kind of geek out on English, and for us to like get to know each other through that. Next, practices from the English department. I think what's really interesting is that, like, this is 9th grade. And like we're doing these kind of like one-pagers of character development themes, symbols, and things like that. And by senior year, if you're taking the 1007, which by the way, wow, more than 3/4 of our seniors are taking the 1007 advanced. 10:07?
Take it last year.
Oh, you did? Well, see, there you go. Our students are taking it, and by that time, they are doing some really major research using Yukon databases. They are really using different forms of communication. And so I put a few up here. I'm just going to click on them very quickly. I'm not going to go through them a lot because I understand that you have a long agenda tonight. But if oh, that was not the right thing to do. So, for example, oh, that's how that works. See, look at this. Like, this is one way. Hi, thank you. We're going to accept them, I guess. So this would be one thing that a student was, oh, there is an audio to this, but the student created all of these slides and they're going to deliver research through these slides. So that's one way of communicating, trying to have our students show us and use different ways of communication. So I think that's pretty cool. Oh, sure. Next, look at this. This is a website. And so you can click on, hey, this is the why. And so what this project was, this is what they were studying. They needed to find some kind of social justice cause. And they needed to say, hey, how would you fund this? How would you fundraise for this? How would you, what's the research? What's the problem? How would you, what's the solution? And so this is an example, again, multimodal work. You can do, different ways to show communication. One is to make a website. So this is an example of that. And you can click on all of these here, and it shows, it's just a wonderful thing that English is more than just writing essays. It's communication. Here's a PowerPoint. And so I just think it's a really cool way to show lead speeches, Socratic seminars, different ways to communicate our learning and our research. And so that's exciting. Next, I wanted you to know that we have Journalism Award, and the New England Scholastic Press Association is the first time that E.O. Smith actually entered. And our byline editorial op-ed that we had second place in that, and that was exciting. And we had honorable mention. We had Virtu. This is our literary magazine. I just wanted to give you a little sample of that. Our students write poetry, they write essays, they write fiction, and they develop that and they publish it. Teacher accolades. This year, Reagan Rowley won the Human Rights Close to Home. She's a fellow for the Dodd Center in Human Rights. And what she's going to do is go across the street to Yukon. She's going to spend her summer there. She's going to hone her teaching strategies. She's going to learn research techniques. And all of the work that she's going to do helping human rights is going to be put into a giant catalog. And every teacher in the country is going to have an open source that they can use her materials. And so that's a really cool thing. Next up, Kayla Sullivan, who teaches 9th grade English. She was published this year in the New Jersey English Journals. And the name of her article is Finding Joy in the English Classroom. And it's a really cool look if you read that. And I did link it there if you want this, I'm happy to send it to you. It's a really cool look of taking a moment, acknowledge students in the room, and have a real conversation with them through English. And that if you let yourself be vulnerable in those moments, students actually learn more and you can find a lot of joy in it. Looking ahead, we're going to continue aligning through assessments, through rubrics, et cetera. We're going to continue to use data to inform our decisions. We looked at SAT data, for example, to inform what we're going to do with grammar next year, our standards conventions. We are reading current research on how to teach grammar. It's different from what it was whenever I went to school. It's kind of like drill and drill and all the diagrams and things like that. But there are lots of different research-based ways to teach grammar in a really nice way that students can access it. And it's really improving their grammar through the process of writing. And so then PLCs will align these methods, and we're going to measure a growth of our standards conventions, and hopefully that will come out to make our SAT scores rise in that area. Next, it's hard to see this. Oh, look. Okay. We're talking about reading. We did a survey, and we're going to continue to survey our students about how much they read and how much they want to read. And what's interesting is that most students say they'd like to read more in their English classes. And so we're going to deliver that to them. And so we're looking at more reading in our future and using our DRP scores, which is the reading power scores. We're going to determine which students need supports, because the folks who are struggling with reading, we're going to make sure that we get them the support that they need. And again, looking at data to help students so we can get everyone to be the best that they can be. Oops, Brady. I touched it and now it won't go. Oop. Okay, maybe I'll do it this way. I'd like to talk to you about fine arts now. This does not, oh, there it goes, okay. I'm gonna run through, again, there were a lot of slides on this and I really had to pick and choose, and I would love to, we had a plethora of wonderful things that we did in fine arts. We had the fall choral concert, we had the winter celebration. I hope some of you were in attendance of these because they, can I say that, I just want you to know this. I don't know if you really know this because I think you might be a little, you're so used to this. E.O. Smith is famous in the state of Connecticut for their music program. I mean, I heard it's all over that this is the place to go for music. And so when I show you some of these things, it just blows my mind. And when I went to see the combined orchestra and choir and they sang Vivaldi, like I cried. It was so beautiful. I thought that it was professional. I thought that professional people were up there. And I made a recording nice, and I was like, I go to my friends and I said, listen to this. And they were like, man, you did that. And I said, high school kids. And it just blew them away. So I just wanted to know that. I'm very excited about it. Okay, so we'll move on. All right. Band, choir, and orchestra went to Disney. We took 85 students to Florida, and we got them all back. And so I was excited. We have, oh, let me tell you this. Okay, please mark this on your calendar because if you want your heart to get 3 times bigger than its normal size, you need to attend on May 28th, Star Makers Tangled. It's the Unified Theater Club that is after school with Amanda Hanslick. And again, if you want your heart to grow 3 times its size, please go to this. It's going to blow your mind. And so May 28th, I don't know the time yet, but we will announce that soon. Okay. Next, we have the Sound of Music here. And if you didn't get to see that, you missed a great show. It was just amazing. It was beautiful. And again, that was directed by Lindsay Hawley. That's how you say her name. And Shannon Webster and Amanda Hanslick did that show. And it was simply amazing. In choirs, we took kids to nationals. We also went to the ACD, that's the American Choir Directors Association Honor Choir Festival. We also go to UConn and we get to be on their stage, and then they come here and they're on our stage. And so we're always collaborating with UConn. Look at this beautiful, I mean, look at this, it's amazing. And again, it was like angels singing. It was crazy. Okay, by the way, we just got this press release today that Amanda Hanslick is a Music Educator Award quarterfinalist for a Grammy Award. Isn't that crazy? That's wild. So she's going to fill out the paperwork. And so she's going to continue on, and hopefully she'll be a semifinalist, and that'll be 20 people in the whole United States. And then if she gets to be a finalist, it'll be the last 10, and then maybe she'll get a flight to California, and we'll see what happens. So we're wishing Amanda good luck. So that's exciting. Our orchestras, just want to talk to you about how amazing, how do you get to build a good orchestra? How you build it is you first say yes. And what happened is you folks at 21 and 22 said yes to making orchestra happening. And this year we had 56 students. We moved from 19 to 56. This is a growing program because we have great instructors. And because, by the way, you board said yes to music and to the orchestra. So thank you for that. Please know that we take all of the kids from around, and if they don't know how to do strings, we give them lessons. We start them with beginning strings. And so you don't have to have had it in middle school. If you went to a school that didn't have it, you don't have to have had it to get it here. And that's what's exciting about this program. These are all of the places that they went. They went to a lot of things, all state, Eastern region, UConn. E.O. Smith Band. This is the largest band program at E.O. has had in 18 years. So again, music is thriving because we have a great program. We're on track to grow by 8% for this next year. And we have the top performing students in the state. Like I said, they're famous. Like when I was teaching in Southfield and I was doing a theater program there, and I worked with the music person there, we heard about you folks. We heard about your music program. And so exciting. They go by the numbers. They have a parade. They have 2 chamber performances. They have 7 music festivals. They have 6 concerts. And we have 103 committed students for our bands. It's exciting. We do have classes for folks who don't necessarily want to do symphonic band, by the way. We have classes that like you can be in your own rock band if you want. So I think that's exciting. You get those classes here. And we do offer ECE courses in music. as well. So you can also get those high honors classes. Next, going on to visual arts. We won the gold, Leah Turkowski won the gold key and the silver key at the Connecticut Regional Scholastic Art Awards this year. That's a high achievement. The Ashford Area Arts Council Scholarship went to Aram Adler-Smith and Grace. Oh, you can't see her. It's so sad. Grace Baldwin, and this is Sylvie here. Oh, there she is. Okay, there's Sylvia. They won the CAS Awards this year. Let's see. We offer a range of introduction and CC classes to support diverse learner needs in visual arts. And we also offer the level 2s, the honors, and an AP art class as well. Visual arts, we had a great art show, we had a couple hundred people come to that. It was awesome, beautiful. The works are amazing. By the way, I had a whole string of them to show, and I cut them because I wanted to make it short. But we have beautiful people making art. This is the empty bowls that Sharon was talking about, which, by the way, she made the chili. I think I saw you making the chili. Are you stirring the chili? Okay. This engaged over 250 individuals as compassionate makers, okay? We collaborated with local businesses, with clubs, with adults and students of all ages. It was so cool. We donated, okay, we had 400 bowls made here, and we shared EO service work with the community, and we engaged countless students in the service, and we raised $2,893.50 for the Covenant Food Shelter, the kitchen there. I just want to, by the way, again, lots of people, this is like talking about how many people, how many clubs here at the school, and Mansfield Middle School, UConn, again, lots of people collaborated. These are students, like Ada and Alex, that's the top left, these two kids, they made 100 bowls of their own. And that's amazing, that's amazing. And by the way, because my office is close to them, it was such a delight to go out there and just see kids like really focused on making the most beautiful art. It was beautiful to see. It was just really cool. By the way, the ones I didn't show faculty members were they were making bowls as well. I cut that, but we had our faculty making it as well. We have art club on Thursdays, and it's just a safe warm place for people to come and make art. The Leo Club, again, is a place that organizes students to give back community service. We donate over 175 hours this year. And again, the Covenant Soup Kitchen each month. On to the theater program. We heard about the dignity, the teach-in, the theme was dignity. The acting class did Can't Take Away My Dignity, and that was during that week. We also had an introduction to film class. They hosted a film shorts on dignity. They were awesome. You can't see it at the top. I guess I didn't make this very great, but these are unified theater students. We had a unified, so I want to make a distinction between the unified theater class that happens during the day and the unified theater club that happens with Amanda Haslett after school. They are different. One's a class and one is a club. Okay, so this is the class, and they engage in relaxation techniques, vocal and physical warm-ups. And it's beautiful. We have a lot of different folks in there, and it's beautiful. They also did a dignity teach-in with the 3 little pigs. And next, our creative writing and performance students, which actually is considered a fine arts here, represented at the Eastern Connecticut State University. We got Trinity Stark placed 2nd in the whole state for one of her pieces of fiction. And I had the privilege of going there to see her read it, and it was beautiful. And she was glowing. It was beautiful. Finally, mark your calendars for May 16th and 17th. Drama Club is putting on a performance this spring, and it is the performance that they have chosen is Panther Cabaret. It featuring seniors Ollie and Jasmine. And we've got K-pop dancers, poets, actors, singers, filmmakers, improv folks. So please mark your calendars for May 16th and 17th. It's going to be a wonderful show. I got to pop in the other day into rehearsal, and it's going to be energetic and full of joy. So I hope you do that. Thank you. I know this was long. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions for me? I know I'm losing my voice. I've had a cold. So yes.
I know you ended on drama, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
And Janice, I want to ask you, if you had a sweeping approach of saying there wasn't a drama, if there is a drama club.
Well,
It had more to do with having a talk.
So, I mean,
I think it's the fact that they were stepping up to help, help lead that club or be there so that the club could meet. Because it, you know, Tony and I are, from, you know, our kids came over here 10, 20 years ago. But, at that time, we remember that, performances, usually with the drama club that was putting on performances with an individual that was running, helping to run the theater at that time. And that person, the theater person was very passionate. I mean, if they were, I mean, she was mostly after, I don't think she.
Yeah, I mean-
That she was here after hours, but this student had a question about, it was tied to our budget. And some of the, difficult decisions we had to make around, you know, what we might have to cut next year, what we have to cut, you know. So, his concern was that, that things were, you know, that there wasn't going to be somebody to carry on with the, and I think in conversations with Sharon,
Yeah.
because I knew that wasn't, I didn't feel like that was something that was correct. And so I think we were just.
yeah, and I think I just wanted to follow up, I mean.
If that makes sense,
When-
I mean, that, you know.
My son and daughter were both very actively involved in 15, 20 years ago, we can look in the hall, there's,
Are they in those pictures?
you know, well, they're in those pictures, but also there's all the trophies that, we were one of the top drama programs in the state.
Oh, you used to do the competition.
CPA
Yeah.
and the musical, and I'm really glad they did musical again this year.
Yes.
Because what we found when we were here is that was an opportunity, the students were running the lighting, they were running the
sets,
costumes, they
creating
were making
sets.
the sets, I mean, the parents were involved. It was a real, bring the whole community together, and you know, there were maybe 75 to 80 students involved in putting on those productions, and it was a really great learning experience. I'm glad we're doing a musical again. I would love to see us continue to make sure we do that.
And I think if this was like prior to COVID, then COVID happened and lots of things changed, so I think things stopped. In-person things stopped, and so trying to pull those things back and, you know, I think, sharing funding, and we're starting at that time, you know, there's history with certain budgetary things, and where money was pulled from that, you know, wasn't maybe pulled clear. So,
Yeah, we made use of such like, it sounds like Amanda was involved this year with the forest, the singers for doing musicals, and because it was a real, and as I said, it created lots of opportunities for students who want to do tech, who want to do lighting, who want to do set, and it was real, it involved, as I said, at least probably 75 students every year, and that for like several months, they're all coming together with that production. And I'm glad to see we started again. I would love to see it continue. And
based on what we're seeing here, it seems like it was
it's
really
started.
full.
You know, it's kickstarting, and I think this is what happened because from the school that I went to, I was the drama person
Yeah.
as well, and I understood, COVID heard a lot of drama programs, and like a lot of schools that have like, we have like 100, I mean, Suffield, which is half the size of here, we had 100 students in our drama program during COVID hit, and then once we finally, you know, jump started it, well, 20 came, okay, and it was like, and so I think it's gonna take time, I think we have to be patient. I think it's exciting that Amanda and Lindsay and Shannon Webster, that they are willing to do, they're like, hey, you need this, it's good for kids, it's good for the arts, it's good for community, and so I think what we have to do is be patient. I think that we have to have, we've got to, if we want the fall show to come up, we've got to get people who are interested in doing that one as well. We had, you know, it's about finding it's about finding the person who's willing to take that time after school to do that. We have some ideas kicking, and I want to say that, but I'm not gonna go into details or anything.
Yeah.
But I think we have to be patient.
I just want to add, and we didn't talk about this part, but when the shift happened, when it was kind of the theater pathway, you know, when it came to be, there was, I think, a different vision as well. From really running the pathway, where there was more shift, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong with that, more of a shift from kind of musical side to more of student written, student directed performances. And that individual is also, the advisory for the drama. So it's like performances during the day with classes, more shift toward the writing and directing piece. And then is on the piece. So we were very happy, you know, specifically there was we didn't have a drama advisor. The drama advisor this summer. So we were very excited when folks approached and there was still significant funding available. In actually March, April, to be able to fund some advisors to put this show on. That happened, you know, late here. It seems like, you know, there is a kickstart to it. Again, maybe bringing back the, you know, big folks on the musical over that. I feel like, you know, the momentum of the musical is
Success builds success, and I think that there was a lot of excitement after the musical. And so, again, I think we're going to have to be patient. And I think that from my experience in so many high schools, COVID hurt a lot, and then it's just like now we rebound, and it has to be that starter show. I think the Sound of Music was that. And so I'm looking forward, as someone who loves theater and did 20 years of theater in high school, helping kids be the best that they can be. I promise you that I will be here to help. I'm going to help make that bridge happen. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to be here as well, because I know that. And again, the Sound of Music is brilliant, and I think that's where we start, and we'll get there. We'll get there. I think we have to be patient.
It was a great start. If you're going to kickstart a program, see and all of those who got involved in it.
Even Anthony, the band director, played in the pit for it. By the way, Anthony, this is a funny story. Anthony this Friday played at the Bushnell for, I don't know if you, some like it hot. He was the substitute pianist. There for, isn't it? I mean, again, I'm just blown away by the talent. Oh, so thank you. That's the end of my. Sure.
There's been like a lot of change in curriculum in English over the past couple of years. Can you tell me if there's any new classes that either like new AP or new ECE that's coming for next year? And I'm also very, very happy to hear we're going to be reading.
Yes.
Yes. You know, the thing is, I was supposed to go to this curriculum meeting that did not happen 2 weeks ago, I think it was. And yes, I was going to propose these pilots that we would, so Sharon, is it okay if I share that? Okay, okay. So I was going to do this in the correct order. So yes, we're offering AP literature. That's like a senior or a junior level. And so it's an AP English class, and we do not have any AP English classes at this point. So actually we have AP seminars for sophomores, but we didn't have. There's AP Lang, which a lot of schools use, and that's usually a junior level, and then the AP Lit is a senior level. But you can take AP Lit as a junior or a senior. It really is for those folks who are like, I need to read, I want to read so much more, I'm going to gobble up all those novels. That's what that class is for. We're piloting it next year. We have a real interest in that. I'll say that. I think we have more than 40 students that are interested in taking that AP class. Okay. We are offering a new perspective class, South Asian. It will be a new perspective class that will happen junior year. I can talk more about that. We were looking at Indian, Pakistani, Sri Lanka, just that kind of literature there. And so that will be kind of go with our perspective classes, which again, is so brilliant that we folks have these wonderful perspective classes during junior year. We're just going to add one, that's the proposal. And then another ECE class, which is called 1004, which is I'm going to call it, it's a great class for students that are like, I am college bound. I want to hone my skills because I'm really not confident right now. So I don't want to jump in to a first year English or the 1007. I'll take this 1004, hone my skills. We're going to take our time. Class sizes should be low on that. And we're going to hone those skills because I know I'm college bound and we're getting them the ladder for success. And so that's what that class is going to be. I've lost.
So that may maybe some kids that haven't taken history before, like.
Yes.
Like classes.
Or maybe you've never been in an honors class and it's just like, I'm gonna go to college. I just haven't felt comfortable in an honors class yet or an ECE class yet. This class is gonna be the step up. It's just like, here's the ladder. You can get there. We'll get you there. That's what that's about. And so I'm excited about this class. So good, great question. I was we were to go to curriculum first. I just want you to know that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Again, yes.
I'll just say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Again, it is such a privilege to be here. Thank you so much. And I hope I get the time to actually know you personally. Have a beautiful day. Thank you. All right. Yeah, thank you.
Now have an opportunity for new business. Is there any new business? I have something to say about that. I received a message today. As you may recall, I think it was last fall, maybe even last year, we had people who came to the board with interested in trying to see whether or not we could be willing to at least entertain the idea of using gym for Irish family. And we at that time decided we weren't going to make any formal meeting. They would come back and ask if we'd be willing to listen to them on they have other perspectives, thoughtful, and share, and then one thing more than that. Personally, I'm fine with it, but I want to hear your opinion. So, you okay with that? I'll let the two persons themselves tell the truth. So, is there any business? Then we should move on to the discussion.
So I took this one off the consent agenda. Because Diane Hannon, our science director, is retiring. Is after many years here that he has spent as a teacher. And it has been my honor to get to work with her for 5 years. She is absolutely amazing. She's been, I don't know how she does what she does as a director. The work that she's done and professional development. Being a thought partner, student secretary, capital lens, it's just been fun. Students based on curriculum instruction and bringing that public clarity for our students. She's been in curriculum for many, many years. So coming here with to a school where really she was the person who was charged with coordinating curriculum for a stipend for every discipline in a school this size and all the courses that get offered, and not to be overwhelmed by that is absolutely amazing work that she did in the country. Help coordinate that with our coaches, big team and myself. Was just really appreciated. She brought historical perspective, but also for someone who's been in the business for so long, never lost her enthusiasm. So I just wanted to make sure that we thank her for years of service, wish her well. I'm confident that she will be back around. She has done adult ed for many, many years as well. Has been a huge advocate for students who just needed something different in their experience with with secondary education. And she certainly is going to be in spirit. Want to say anything? On spot.
I've worked with her as long as I've been here. She's one of the rocks in the science department. She will certainly be missed.
I never had Mrs. Swanson, but she was my class about it, Mr. Swanson and Mrs. Swanson for 4 years. And so I got to work with her very closely. And she cares so much about every single student. She is a humble person, obviously an amazing leader. Obviously, she's done so much for the science department, but also just students in general. I personally learned a lot from her. And she kind of built how to be a big loss with due respect. But I mean, I think she's going to have some more time off. But yeah, so she's
We also, has the Allied Health Program, which is really unique that EO does, and the impact for those kids that are able to enter the meetings to get in, and this it's such an opportunity for kids to have, to explore in one of their lives. But yeah, I've known her for a long time in various settings here at EO. She's just incredible.
Passion and dedication, I think that's an example of making science relevant. As a science person myself, and that's the challenge, right? Really making science alive. And
Do we have a motion on the agenda? Making a motion. Want to read it?
sure. Motion that the Region 19 Board of Education accept the letter of retirement submitted by Diane. Effective June 3rd.
Let's vote on it. Any opposed? Yeah. A motion to approve that. And then we'll get into discussion.
I'll take the motion actually through the grading report policy as recommended.
We want to thank everybody. It's been 2 years in the making, and I wanted to thank, of course, the committee members, the administration, the teachers, and the students. We had input through focus groups, through surveys, through multiple meetings. We had so many wonderful, just thoughtful discussions. We had people come in, new came in from UJ. We had union people come in, to meetings. And there's teachers reps were there last year. Just a lot of work went in, and my hope for this policy is that it's very much representative of thoughts and ideas of multiple stakeholders. And that we can implement and so I hope you guys are going to read the draft, and then this is like the overarching policy. Some of the tiny little details you might not see in it. Those are going to be parts of regulations. So the idea is that the policy is broad enough for the control of regulation.
Yeah, I didn't see it was
The second,
Oh, no.
there's 2 documents. The second document.
Separate, yeah.
Yeah,
That side of it.
the email that you Joseph. The second email. that
What's one of your question?
I would just like to say, I came in at the very end here, with the EJ. And I think, you know, to me, just thinking about what a daunting task to take on, just starting all over and coming up with a new way of looking at the greater policy. And of course, you know, it was easy for us to say, you got to watch out for these things. And of course, there's going to be, it's a new policy. You learn from it and we're involved, but I really gratitude for all the work you've done. And, you know, it will, I'm not, you know, I'm sure there will be tweaks, but I'm, you know, but I think we're headed in really the right direction. And with a policy that makes sense for what we're doing.
I'm really proud of all the, everyone who contributed, because oftentimes, even though we would maybe have different points of view, you know, or different opinions on things and really deep conversation, we always came back to what is best for students. And I really think that at the end of the day, we have to have in the policy. Yeah, I just wanted to say, I also think about the unit, and I didn't expect it to be, I guess, as thorough as it is, and well, that's wrong. I didn't expect, but I was amazed at the time commitment, I guess, that you and the other committee members have put into this policy, and even the discussion that was happening at the ninth hour there. You know, thinking, oh my gosh, you know, haven't you talked about this enough? Can't we just roll it out and see how it works? So I was really impressed with all that work, and you really dug in and I think kind of, you know, really understood it, knew it backwards and forwards. I'm sorry, I had to think before we did the assessment because I had some other commitments, so I felt badly about that because I really wanted to kind of be there to see that piece through. So, but I was really good. Thank you for all the work and the other committee members too. I mean, and moves and, you know, because lots of people doubts that, you know, sent out over the past few years directed all the information about that. It really got us going. But yeah, and I think also, though, I think this speaks to like a lot of the discussion of what I was just hearing that night too, really speaks to trying to get some consistency from, you know, from teacher to teacher, you know, from subject matter to subject matter, just to, you know, and to try to, and Diane trying to really encourage certain tools to be used, I guess is the way. Yes, the learning tracker, I saw that. I wanted to say, could you enlarge that please so I could have a picture? So that was, I think that was evident too. We have many connection, and we have
You're telling yourself.
The beginning? No, you don't have to get into it. I know I'm going to be your new combination, you know, it's very good. But my brain has been far from trying to be on. I think it is. And Cam was so amazing and, you know, we went to the theater a lot. We know so much. We had your parents and kids, you know, my kids did too. And I appreciate all the all the things that are just very sensible. What about you? You know, what about you? We have a young child, maybe things that they have to. I think everything else
Other administration.
I think it's good.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. So I think I think I would echo the sentiments that everyone made, but I do want to add that, for all the time that the committee and everyone put into this policy, Kimberly put in so much time into this policy, with additional meetings, that Lou and I were working on agenda and coming in and going through more readings and just, you know, and doing more readings on our own and sending us articles and doing, it was a labor of love, I think, and just, that doesn't go unnoticed. It was, you know, it moved us along, I think, in a lot of ways, and as much as there were times we were always on the same page, I think that the product is certainly a testament to, our, thank you.
Yeah, so there's a lot of work ahead with the implementation. You're right, consistency was the theme. And we're gonna work through that, smooth it out. I mean, every teacher is gonna have to change at least one thing that they're doing. You know, it's because it does, it's very comprehensive. And I think it's important to know or not forget where we came from. And there was a lot to do. Because it was kind of left up to whoever wanted to do it. Teachers figured out a system that worked for them, but that doesn't work for kids and families. So there's going to be a big adjustment. We've taken the faculty along the last 4 faculty meetings. 3 of them are activities to get to know this policy, provide input on how we're going to implement regulations to it. So we're going to continue to work. But the policy is certainly a great place to start. It's a good foundation. I agree with everything everyone said. But in the end, we're talking about how we evaluate students and what they take out of it. It's extremely important. Because that transfer, that's it. So you have to know if we're accurate.
Right.
There's a policy to do that. That's you, that's not the policy. However, we're staying in contact because there's certain pieces of the policy or the pieces that were in the policy that are not the policy that are not part of the regulation. And I think it's important for consistency going forward in communication with the board that knowing and understanding as we're trying to implement be consistent with the board, that we're all on the same page about the regulations of what so let's start with
I'll get the communication piece, but the next step is not the board's.
No.
Okay.
Responsibility.
Just want to be clear.
Policy.
Yeah.
Implementation following.
Yeah.
Regulations. The goal is to have draft regulations done within this month, so that staff knows.